Start recording.
There it goes.
Okay,
Bang.
Cindy, are you ready, honey?
Yeah, can you hear me, Misty?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, welcome, everyone. I mean, we are across the globe on a Sunday afternoon. This call was, yes, so totally needed. And as Misty said, we're about helping people. So we have to come together and work together for a common goal. I did email Cal with a kind of like a just because email to say that I appreciated what he and Linda were putting together, because having been a leader in the industry myself and in a telecom company years ago, I dealt with over 2,000 people and I handled them on a weekly basis. So I knew what Linda and Cal were putting together was even on a larger scale than that. And I just wanted to reach out and let him know I wanted him to be able to have one of those "we appreciate you" emails. You know, guys, they didn't have to do this. They could have taken their millions. They could have lived on an island somewhere and been a happy little camper, right? But you know what? They saw a need and they chose to put something together for everyone, including internationals. Why? To help people to be able to navigate this windfall that we're all about to experience, right? None of us know how to handle it. It is truly exciting, but you know what? At the same time, it's very scary. It's scary because we don't know what to do. And even if we had somewhat of a clue, what do we do first, right? So to have as much information on what our options are is really the only way to get ready for what's about to happen. Now, you're all familiar with that telephone game, right? There's been some negative statements and rumors about greed out there and people not getting paid, etc. That's all been going around. And so we thought that we would have Cal address a lot of those concerns, and he will do that. And so we corralled the troops, and here we are. Now, I will say that you're going to hear about FPS, which stands for Financial Protection Services. You're going to get the rundown of benefits and what they have to offer, as well as whatever Cal's allowed to share with us, he will. I love this man. We spent over an hour on the phone, and he took the time out to give me a call after that email. He did not have to do that. The 500K payout that everybody seems to be concerned with, that process has changed several times. So we're going to hear a little bit about that as well. Now, our goal at the end of this call is to leave you with a little more settlement in your mind, right? Feeling a little more at ease with what's about to happen and have a clear understanding of really what's available to you. FPS is just simply an option. I commend you all for being here on a Sunday to get all the information regarding your money. You need to choose wisely. So I will say this before we go further. I want to state that none of us are tax professionals. We are not financial advisors. We are not giving financial advice, nor are we instructing anyone as to what to do with their money. You really should consult your own tax professional, although Cal will talk about that in a little bit. We're probably going to have a few of those under our umbrella, but consult your own. You know, this is your money. So this call is really for educational purposes only. I'm going to bring our speaker to the front of the call. I have a few questions for him, and then we're going to open it up for additional questions. So you're all going to be able to get your questions answered. I will say this. Get your notepads out, take notes. I learned a long time ago from a very dear friend of mine, note takers are money makers, right? There you go.
One thing, Cindy, before you bring Cal on, is I would like to say that this is a webinar, okay? So you're not gonna be able to unmute your mic and talk, but if you will put your questions in the chat, when it gets time to answer the questions, we'll make sure that they're addressed. And please only put your question in there one time, okay? And then, you know, if it is within someone's knowledge to be able to give you the answer, we will certainly do that.
Yeah, thank you, Misty. Thank you for that. Beautiful. So here we go. Mr. Cal Jones, he has a doctorate in administration. He currently teaches personal finance. He is a business owner as well as he has been a business consultant for over 20 years. And I'm going to let him take the floor and expand on just who we have on the line with us. So Mr. Cal Jones, come on down.
Hey, well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. I guess the call maybe was needed due to the sheer volume of over 130 members that are on the call. So first of all, kudos. I feel like we're getting closer and closer every day to everything that some people have been a part of for over 4 years, and maybe some people have been a part of for only 4 months, finally becoming a reality. So let me go ahead and take you back about 8 weeks, because I've heard a lot of rumors about myself since we kind of came to put this whole program together. And I just have to tell you, I mean, I know that it's Sunday, but it's all BS. If you're a leader on this call and you don't lead by example and you lead through negativity, then you're not a leader, bottom line. So let's go ahead and take you back 8 weeks. So the first thing that we did was I was having a conversation with Linda and I said, listen, why don't we go ahead and just put some Zoom classes together for some personal finance, basic overview, kind of 30,000 foot view type, classes, and do 7 or 8 1-hour sessions. And we spent some time ironing it out and like, okay, we want class 1 to just be X, class 2 to be Y, class 3 to be Z. And we were going to do kind of what we're doing here through Zoom, but we were going to record it and put it out to the masses. And keep in mind, she's got over 6,000 people that have contributed through the collateralized loan program through TWP. And so at the end of the day, when we were finished with what we thought the outline might be, I said, Linda, we can't do this. And she goes, well, what do you mean we can't? I said, no, we can't do it this way. And she said, well, how come? And I said, well, because we've got people who can't even fill out a Google form correctly. Now we're going to put 7 or 8 classes together and expect them to figure out how to put together a portfolio or be able to handle 250, 300, 500, 750 million dollars. It can't be done. And so what we decided to do was, I said, Linda, you got to start another company. And she said, well, what would that look like? I said, well, it's got to be an asset protection company of some kind. And so one of the first phone calls that we made was to an attorney in Wyoming that I have known for years, based on the fact that we are a business owner. And I've used him. He closed his practice back in January of this year and went to work for the Attorney General's office in the state of Wyoming. And but we called him and I was having a conversation with Eric about the program, about the payouts, about the structure, and about what's going on. And his comment to me was, he said, that's fantastic. I'm going to give you a prime example of why this is needed in today's society. He said, I'm representing one of my only existing clients that I have after I closed my practice was a gentleman who got COVID before I decided to close my practice. And he was on his deathbed. And at the end of the day, his kids thought he was going to die too. He was on a ventilator. They had come in and given the last rites. And at the end of the day, the guy recovered, was actually discharged from the hospital. But what happened before he was discharged was his kids had sold his house, distributed all of his assets equally amongst all of the kids because they thought he was gone. So instead of spending their last moments with their father, who was pretty wealthy, they're out trying to figure out who can get their hands on what. And so we knew that based on that scenario alone, if we can help one person avoid that same pitfall, then we've done a pretty good job. Now, I've had people call me and, well, I'm trying to vet you. You don't have to vet me. I am a real person. I am on the video. I don't need to, but here's the thing, I think actions speak louder than words. And what we did was we put together a program that was truly designed to help individuals in kind of a one-stop shop, and so I have a law firm out of Miami that we are retaining for international tax purposes for those individuals that are foreign. We have a CPA firm here in the United States. There's actually 2 of them that we are retaining for the purposes. But you got to keep in mind that all this does is takes money. And Cindy, one of the things about it is that until this thing closes and until we get our distribution of funds, we're setting this up so that we're ready on day one. But until we get the distribution of funds, I'm in the same boat everybody else is in. We're waiting. We have a plan in place. We want to help people, but I have to have all of this ready to go. We've got contracts in place. I've got, non-disclosure agreements that they can't discuss anything about this particular program. I can't talk about who they are. They can't discuss anything about who we are. I have an attorney that we spent about 3 hours on the phone with out of Puerto Rico. That's an option for folks. I have spent time on the phone this week with an attorney out of Panama, as well as the central banking system in Panama, as well as Belize. I'm literally leaving no stone unturned. And so as somebody who's truly trying to help others, for somebody who's trying to scam you, I sure have put in a hell of a lot of time to try to figure out a way to scam you, I guess, because that's, again, what I consider to be bogus. It's not true. I don't need it. I've got over 100 positions. I could take it and roll. But I guess kind of my lot in life is that I feel like I'm kind of drawn to try to help protect those that maybe need help and try to help those along the way. You know, and if we can make it a one-stop shop, if we can put this together for the benefit of everybody, then that's what we're doing. I don't have time for negativity. I don't have time for whatever. Go your separate way. I wish you the best of luck. We will not be for everybody, but we will be for a lot of people. And for those people that will, you know, you trusted Linda, you had faith in Mike's program, you had faith in everything else. And as of right now, the one thing you've had faith in that you put your money toward hasn't closed yet. So let's look at the facts. The facts are that we are all waiting for the exact same day when we get notification of a close. Once that happens, the dominoes will start falling for us, and we will be ready for you when you need that help. But until it closes, nobody needs help. We're putting all of the foundation ready to go to build the house.
Thank you, Cal, for that. I do have a couple of questions that I think that we should start with that I have come up actually in conversations that I've had and what I've seen in some of the rooms that I've been in. So
now, if it's okay, I'm going to mute my video because it's real glitchy on my end sometimes when my video goes. So I'm just going to, I'm going to turn my video off, but my mic will still be on. So, and I don't have any idea what these questions are in advance. So you're truly hitting me with those like on the fly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. That's okay. I know you can handle it. Well, first of all, we want to know, have you ever done this before? And you've already addressed why would you? You know, some say that it's greed, but have you ever done anything of this magnitude before?
Nope, have not. I will not lie to you. I have not done anything of this magnitude before, but I can tell you that me personally, I'm one of those very conservative individuals that would rub two dimes together if I thought I could get a quarter out of it. You know, I saved for over 20 years to put 20% down on the house I just bought. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have the ability to run this company because I know business. And I know that Lee Iacocca was successful at Chrysler, pulling that out of the brink of disaster because he hired people that knew how to make cars. He hired people that were smarter in that industry than he was. And if you knew the people that we were bringing on board and the banking systems that we were talking to, you know, again, if the non-disclosure agreements that we have in place kind of prohibit me a little bit from discussing the who, but it doesn't keep me from discussing the what. And those individuals they've been in the industry of asset protection and portfolio management and CPA and tax accounting. And even one of the attorneys that we talked to is a family law attorney, and he's interested in coming on board. I don't know that it's going to be full time. He wants to basically keep his practice, but us retain him for when those things are needed, such as updating wills and things of that nature. So the people that we're bringing on board, they will be better at the people that need a will than I will, because I've never written a will either, but I've got one. Okay. So just because I have one doesn't mean that I'm the attorney that wrote it. So I don't want the fact that that is a no to scare anybody. In fact, it ought to excite everybody. The fact that I don't have any bad habits and the fact that we are truly here to help folks. And it is still everybody's decision as to what they do with their revenue through their business, then it's really kind of a no-lose situation. Uh-oh, you're glitching out on me again.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. So my next question was, are you or Linda or both experts? And you already answered that one. And then are you hiring experts? So, you know, I think we're all adults here. We all understand how business works, and not every successful business owner does everything himself. You know, what he doesn't know how to do, he seeks someone who does. just as you said. So you're going to hire the professionals and the experts to be able to help us as putting this together, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the attorneys that we're retaining is in Wyoming, because that seems to be kind of the hot spot. And I'll tell you why Wyoming is a great place for an LLC. Okay. It's because of the anonymity that's involved with the LLC itself, because nobody's going to be able to look up the name of your LLC, such as Blue Sky LLC, and they're not going to be able to see your name attached to it. They'll just simply see the name Blue Sky LLC. They'll see the registered agent. They'll see the the manager of the LLC, either being FPS or by name, Linda or Cal, but it's yours. You own it. And the fact that you have maybe $500 million in assets in that LLC, the fact that nobody can look up who the owner of that LLC is, the anonymity that that provides is amazing. Well, one of the attorneys that we've got on retainer is in Wyoming. And so when I need to have 100 businesses, businesses filed at the state of Wyoming in Cheyenne over the next 48 hours, then he's in Cheyenne. So at the end of the day, we have set this up. We've built the foundation. All it takes is money. And I'm waiting for the distribution of funds just like everyone else. So that way I can start hiring and paying the people that we have agreements with. So it's that simple.
Beautiful. Love it. And so let me just ask you this before we ask the audience any questions that, that any concerns that they have. What do you see for FPS going forward? As far as our volume, I know that you mentioned some numbers to me on the phone the other day, and I think you were saying when it started, it was 800 or 900, but you were up over, I don't know how many potential members at this point. But what do you and Linda see for FPS moving forward?
Well, one of the things that I know that I see is, remember when we had first put the call together introducing FPS, we were thinking there might be 100 or 200 people, right? And we shattered that like a Austin Riley home run into left field against the Dodgers. So at the end of the day, we're up around 1,500 members, or at least potential members that have filled out the interest form through Google. And so one of the things that I am going to make sure of is that those TWP members that have come on board, remember when we talked about, people were more concerned about what is year 2 going to cost than what's it take to get everything set up. Yeah. Well, my thing now is because we have such a strong membership and because there are so many people that are interested in our services, you'll never have to pay to be a member of FPS. And everything else that we are going to bring to the table, I've already got contracts with those individuals. Remember, I told you I've been in the consulting business for over 20 years. I've got telemedicine contracts with 5 different telemedicine companies. I've got legal advocacy contracts with 2 different legal advocacy companies. We've got all kinds of non-insurance benefits that we can offer members, that basically everything from a concierge service to, I need an airplane ticket, or I need this, I need that, to, I had a contractor that was supposed to have done this and they left me stuck with it. Just generalized questions that won't necessarily be under FPS. There's a lot of things we're bringing to the table. And I know that some people on this call are like, well, there's a whole bunch of weird gonnas. What have you done to help? How many phone calls have you been on? How many times have you reached out to me to say, hey, what can I do to help you make this a success for my group? None of them have, except for you, Cindy. So at the end of the day, we have everything in place that we need to be able to get this across the finish line once Mike closes this program and the distributions of funds becomes a reality.
Excellent. I do see a question in here. Does a lady speaking, am I a business owner or do I have business experience? I've owned several of my own businesses, starting from the ground up. I've owned 2.5, I want to say, separate salons. The half I say is because I had a partner. She went off to do something else and I bought her out. We were in an 800 square foot space. I was blowing out the walls. So I moved across the street into a 1,200 square foot space, ended up with 7 nail techs, 2 estheticians, a massage therapist, hairdressers, full service. And I was sitting behind the desk as well, doing a full clientele every single day. I know how to run business. I'm very organized. I know how to deal with people. And one of the things that I absolutely know is when I it doesn't have, it's the unspoken word. It doesn't have to be said, but I can feel how other people are feeling. And I see that in the rooms. I see what people are typing. I know that they have concerns. They have said it to me personally, or on a message, as well as I just skim the rooms. I don't have to be very vocal in there, but I can know that there was a little bit of unrest out there. And so after our conversation, Cal and I, he said, give anyone my phone number. They want to call me, I'll answer the phone any time of the day, every day. And I said, why would you do that? Let's just get everybody on a call and let's just, make your time a little more efficient. And that's why we're here on this Zoom call. Now, aside from owning a couple of salons, I do have my life, health, and annuities license for the state of Florida. I think the only license I don't have is a real estate license. But I have no interest in selling houses. So I do have an interest in buying some. That's coming in a little while here when our windfall comes. But yeah, I have a little bit of business acumen. So yes, Dave, thank you for that question. Yeah.
Hey, and I saw a question come through about the international piece. So let's
Okay.
talk about that real quick, because I don't know where everybody's from, but I probably spent the better part of, oh my gosh, it might have been over 20 hours this week on probably, it was probably 10 different Zoom calls with groups out of Sweden, and each one of them lasted at least 2 hours. And one of the things that we have come up with on some of these other countries is that the IBC is going to be an important aspect for them, but they want, and so like in Sweden, their version of the IRS, if they can't determine where the money came from, then they're afraid that they're going to have to forfeit 80, 90, maybe even in some cases 100% to the state, which would be, the country. And so there's a genuine concern. And so remember when we had talked about, if you've listened to the calls, get in the mindset of controlling everything but owning nothing, right? And so by putting together an LLC for some international individuals, but actually you being the manager of that LLC will do the same thing as ownership, except for the fact that you can't be taxed on what you don't own. But you also can't be taxed on what you control either. The only thing you'd be taxed on would be the revenue that you pay yourself as the manager of the domestic LLC here in the United States. And then in turn, you would be listed as a business consultant. I mean, the word consulting is pretty universal, right? It's a pretty powerful word when it comes to just exactly what it is that you do. And so what we're going to be doing for a lot of internationals is hiring them as consultants of their own company. And then their distribution of funds would come either bi-weekly or bi-monthly, however they want to do their payroll, right? The 1st and the 15th, or every other Friday, or maybe once a month. Those funds can be sent through either a bank wire to your local bank, if you have a personal account set up, or it can be done through crypto. We encourage everybody to have their own personal bank account, because you're going to want to be paid through your company's account into your own personal bank account, right? So there's a lot of different things that we have set up in place to try to help those individuals internationally. Again, someone said about international tax. Well, one of the firms that we just came into agreement with last Thursday they do a lot of taxation for domestic people here in the US that have international businesses, such as, the IBCs. But at the same time, they do a lot of taxes for those outside the country that have domestic LLCs. So they are an international tax law firm out of Miami. And we finalized our agreement with them on Thursday. And so that was one of the big things that we did on top of, some of the other country calls that we've had or that I've been on over the course of the last week. So I hope that helps answer that question. It might make it more cloudy, but I mean, it's that's where we're at with some of those groups, especially in the higher taxation rates of Sweden. And I was on a call Friday night from about 7:30 Central Standard Time until almost 11:30 with a group out of Melbourne and Sydney, and there was about 110 20 or 30 people on that one as well. And we're looking at doing the same thing for our friends in Australia. So we have a plan in place. Again, we're all waiting for the same thing, which is closure and the distribution of funds, because it's only going to take me, as of the last, it's probably going to take me over $10 million out of my own money to get this set up the way that I'm looking for it to be set up. And that's me paying it, not asking you to. I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart. And so oh, okay, let me go ahead and cross this bridge. So with over 14 or 1,500 members, what we're going to be doing, and this may be exciting for those individuals that are interested, 45% tax in South Africa is pretty high, Colin. One of the things that we're going to do is, if you are in an area that has a lot of group of people, so like in Sweden, they've got a pretty large membership group. In Australia, there's over 100 to 150 people. There may be more, but those are just the people that have expressed an interest in FPS. We're going to hire client service managers through FPS. And the thing that we're going to do is that we're going to open it up to the membership, right? They're going to come work for FPS. Who better to work with us than people that are with us, right? And so at the end of the day, we're going to hire the client service manager. So if we hire a client service manager, they're going to get a caseload of anywhere between 75 to 100 different individuals or businesses per se. And they will be the first point of contact. And they will get to know everything about that client that they possibly can. What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? You know, if you want to diversify and you want to go into precious metals, or you want to invest money, we'll have those experts, right? I'm not the expert. I will not give anybody advice on how to invest their money. I won't do it. Okay. What I can tell you is that the approach I'm taking is very conservative. By pooling all of the assets together, it makes us pretty powerful when we go to the banking institutions and say, okay, we have 100 billion in assets that we want to bring to the table. We're not taking 1 or 2% interest, because we're just not. We'll go across the street. You know, and right now we're in negotiations with everybody on this startup, and looking at 7%, just because of how big the pie can actually be. So I don't know if we just lost this call, but it looks like my transcript went away.
No,
So,
we hear you.
but that's one of the reasons why it's so powerful, is because there's power in numbers. Okay, there's power in numbers, and the stronger that we are, we're only going to be as strong as our weakest link, right? But at the same time, we're only going to also be strong when we have the power in numbers that we have both domestically and internationally. And so we will have a solution for everybody. It just may not be in the next 20 minutes when this call ends.
Right.
But we are hiring the individuals that will have your solution and know the internet inside and out, that know like to set up corporate in Puerto Rico. By the way, if anybody would move to Puerto Rico with the attorney that we just talked to, I can get you only taxed at about a 4% rate by setting up a corporation in Puerto Rico. We've got a contract with that attorney right now. So there's a lot of things that we've done. But again, it takes the distribution of funds for me to be able to get it over the finish line.
Love that. I love that. And you know, it is ever evolving, because again, there isn't anything that really is concrete right now, because we haven't even begun. Did we lose Cal? Cal, are you there?
I'm here. I just stopped my video so I can hear,
Right.
because it glitches when other people talk.
Okay, there's a question. Well, let me just finish my thought there. So there are a lot of things that Cal could probably give you an answer to right now today, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to change next week or 2 weeks from now when our money comes.
There's a chance that it might change, right? Yep. But again, we thought we were closing in, then all of a sudden everybody hopped on a ship to Dubai, right? So, I mean, the rules of the game have changed periodically throughout the entire, again, right? When we first did this in
you keep fading in and out there.
With FPS, yes, we were thinking, based on the amount of interest, 1,500 folks, and it's only going to get bigger. We've really laid a pretty solid foundation. I really think that everybody on this call would be super excited if we could switch bodies for the blink of an eye. They would go, oh my gosh, this this really is the real deal, and they put a ton of work into everything ready for us.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we have to always improvise, adapt, and overcome. You know what I mean? As everything changes and evolves, so do we have to. So I don't see you anymore, but I'm hoping you can hear us, and I hope that we can still hear you, Cal.
I can. I just turned the video on
Okay,
because
that's
it's glitchy when I've got my.
yeah, it is. You keep bopping in and out on us. But there is a question in here from Eric, and I'm going to read it, and I'm thinking that this might be a great question for maybe one of the Q&A calls. I'm not sure if you can answer this on the spot, but it says that Congress passed on January 1st the Corporation Transparency Act, which requires corporations, LLCs, and similar entities to report info about beneficial owners to secure a database in the U.S. Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. And it says that the U.S. onshore secrecy jurisdictions, including Delaware, can't hide beneficial ownership anymore. It's not clear whether this will apply to trust. So it looks like that all services may have to report account holders themselves under companies' names. Can you speak to that, or is that something we're going to have to get back on?
Well, okay. So what needs to happen is that question needs to be emailed directly to me, because it was kind of glitchy with you reading it. Just at info.fpsintl@gmail.com. Just for the simple fact that it was glitchy when you read it. But I think that you're talking about the law that was passed by Congress. See, here's the thing. Right now, the bigger issue isn't what laws have been passed when it comes to some of those things. It's the laws that are about to be. There's a big push right now. One of the ladies that they're trying to, put in charge of the Treasury, well, actually the comptroller went to, and now listen, I don't care what political party you're in. I have a problem with this as an American citizen. She did a dissertation or a thesis over over the effects and the quality of Marxism's beliefs in Russia, and she won't release that to Congress. And yet she's been recommended to be the comptroller. Look it up if you don't believe me. And she won't release her thesis to Congress. She won't do it. And at the end of the day, when they're going to put $80 billion into the IRS to hire more agents and lower the threshold for banking transactions in any bank account that has $600, and when Yellen was grilled by Congress about what that was, she's like, oh, well, we're trying to catch high net worth individuals, not by lowering the threshold to $600 you are. What you're trying to do is you're trying to basically get rid of the middle and the lower class and make them dependent upon, a welfare state is what you're doing. And they want complete control. And I have a problem with that. Tommy Tuberville out of Alabama just put in he basically just wrote a bill that would counteract that. And so really, if you've ever been involved in what's going on financially in the world, right now it's time to be active. We don't want, $80 billion because we need more IRS agents. Do you trust the government with your money, or do you trust yourself? That's the question I would ask anybody on this call. And for those individuals that are paying 60, 70, 80% taxes in other countries, man, I don't know how you do it. I don't think I could go to work every day and know that I'm only bringing home 20 cents for every dollar that I make. And so that's another reason why we're truly exploring every opportunity and option, such as we were on the phone with an attorney in Panama. And Panama they just did away with their friendly nation visa program, but you can still move to Panama and with an investment anywhere between $250,000 and $500,000, become a legal resident of Panama, which would lead to citizenship. And everybody talks about the insurance that the FDIC provides here in the United States. They don't have that in Panama, but go look it up. There's never been a bank fail in Panama, and their interest rates aren't terrible. So I'm just saying that right now we are in trying times, and we are trying, based on the trying times, to find the right solution for everybody. And this new law that was passed and some of the ones that are up for possible debate and passage in the future are going to affect every one of us on this call. And we're trying to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And that's getting harder and harder to do. I'm going to address this. I'm going to ask this question because I keep getting told in the chat here that I'm missing this question. I'm just trying to keep you know, the subject matter the same, and I'm not really missing any question. No, you know, we're going to do that at the end. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so let me move on. I have not missed Carl's question, just for anybody that thinks I have. All right, how well will FPS work with international tax laws? I think we've addressed that. And that is a work in progress.
Well, but again, that law, the tax firm that we have an agreement with in Miami does international taxes, and we will retain them for those individuals that are going to need those services.
Yeah.
So they will basically, FPS will be their client, and because you're a client of FPS, you will be entitled to utilize those services. And not only that, but it isn't going to cost you anything to use the services. We will be taking care of the fees that are associated with that.
Right, I love that. Okay, and so here's the next question. Thank you, Cal. What percentage of taxes do you think that we might be paying with proper financial protection? Like how will—
You're cutting out, Cindy. It's too good.
What percentage?
You're cutting out, Cindy. I didn't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
It's a little goofy. It's a little, hey, you might try turning off your video and see if that doesn't make the audio better.
Yeah, let me do that. Okay, can you hear me now?
That made all the difference in the world.
It did? Okay, cool. I just wanted people to know I was a real person. All right. What percentage of taxes do you think that we'll be paying with proper financial protection with FPS, basically? I mean, we're not going to hold your feet to the fire, you know, but what are you saying would the difference be? I guess is the question.
All right. So look at it this way. When we set up the Wyoming Corporation, you're looking at about a 21% corporation tax on that asset. Then when you decide that you want to become an employee of your own company, you're going to pay yourself a salary. And you will be taxed on the salary that you pay yourself. Just like if you went to work at Walmart or if you went to work for any company out there, right? You're going to get taxes taken out of that salary. Well, when you put yourself on your own payroll, you'll be responsible for, you know, basically paying yourself and the taxes that are associated with that income. Now, here's the great thing about that, though. And remember when we talked about living on the interest and never touching the principal, you know, at that point in time, once the 21% has been paid, that will be the principal that never has to be taxed again. And so by getting even a small interest on that money, 2 or 3%, you know, let's take the guy that has 100 million in the bank after taxes. Even if we were just able to get, you know, that individual 2%, that's $2 million a year. Are you going to pay yourself $2 million a year, or are you going to pay yourself a reasonable salary of, you know, maybe you bump up and you're going to pay yourself, you know, $500,000 to $750,000 a year. You're going to live a little better life than you lived earlier. And I think that everybody should. Well, that means that your company still made $1.25 million in the physical year. You would be responsible for the personal income tax that you made, but at the same time, your company would be responsible for the interest that was made but at the 21%. But again, you've already paid taxes on the initial side of things. So your tax threshold was still there, but it's not going to be nearly as much as it is going to be on that very first day when you're like, oh my God, I just paid $40 million in taxes. I want that problem. I can't wait for that day to come when I have to write a check for $40 million to the IRS. I'll be honest.
I agree. Yeah, I'll pay taxes. Okay, so thank you, Cal. The next question is, when using FPS for setting up an entity, we need a C Corp first and then an LLC. And then I would like to follow that up with, do we need an LLC first before being a member of FPS, or does FPS do that for us?
Well, it's designed to do both, right? If some people already have their own companies set up, they've already got trusts, they've already got LLCs, they've already got C Corps, they've already got, and then they've got them all. And so what they want to do is they want to roll those assets into FPS using an existing company. That's fine. If it's one where we have to set it up on your behalf, then we'll set it up on your behalf the way you want it structured. Again, remember, this is yours. it will be yours. It's never going to be FPS's. And that's the great thing about, remember Mike said on a call, don't let other people control your money. We aren't doing that. You are. You're controlling it, but we're trying to help you protect it from invasion, both foreign and domestic, right? I mean, they don't make TV shows about the lottery made me broke because it didn't. They make TV shows like that because it did. They won $200 million in the lottery, and then 5 years later, they're broke and they don't have a pot to piss in. So,
Right.
we're trying to do everything we can to try to help people manage that by doing it smart, by doing it the right way, by giving them not investment advice, but basically personal finance advice. There's a big difference in the two of those, and I need people to understand that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you. Okay, so I have two questions here from Jayantha. Anthony, I hope I'm saying, I don't want to butcher your name. Honestly, I'm usually not that bad when it comes to names. Ms. or Mr. McKay. Let's just do that. Okay, so I have a two-part question, and the first part is, do we have to use Belize Bank only if I want to be a part of FPS? Well, I guess my question is, are you outside of the United States? I would think would be my first question back to you, not sure. Her second question is, we have to ask Mike or Linda to send our funds directly to you or to our chosen bank account.
Okay, so what we're going to do in that particular situation, first of all, no, Belize doesn't have to be the bank of choice. It is an option. Remember, we're merely, the difference between a head coach and an assistant coach when it comes to athletics is the assistant coach makes suggestions and the head coach makes decisions. Every individual will make their own decision.
Cal, we lost you. Where'd he go?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, there you are. You just came back in. So when you
Okay.
said every head coach is the
So every head coach, the difference between a head coach and an assistant coach is that the head coach makes decisions and the assistant coach makes suggestions. Look at FPS as the assistant coach. We will make suggestions, but every individual will be responsible and tasked with making their own decisions. We will make suggestions and we will lay out options and you'll choose the best one that fits your needs. That's what makes it great and falls right in line with what Mike has said. Don't let other people control your money. You will always be in control.
Perfect.
It is Belize. Belize is an option, but it's not the only option. We've got Panama. We've got banks in the Cook Islands that we have reached out to. We have banks domestically. And so, no, that's not the only one. It is just one of the options that we can utilize. But again, if we have people that want it to go into a specific area, then we will make sure that that area has the ability to handle not only just the IBC, but also the regulations and the banking requirements that'll go along with it.
Great. Perfect. Okay. Jackie she says, if someone gets $140 million like in the lottery, they get the money. How is this different? I'm in Canada, so are you saying that I could not get someone here in Canada to help with my money?
You can.
Yeah.
The way you choose to go, please don't feel obligated for FPS at all.
Right.
I mean, see, what Linda has done in her daily updates is that she has also put together a list of asset management protection companies. A lot of those come with fees. A lot of them are going to be, kind of, this is how we're going to have you do things. And I feel like by doing it that way, in some of the ones that I've talked to, just because I want to inspect what I expect. And by talking with some of those other individuals, what I've come to realize is that they're kind of a one-trick pony, that they want it done a specific way. They find, maybe a couple of things that they're going to do and that you're going to fall in their line. They're not going to fall into yours. And the way that we've structured this program is that we fall into your line. You don't have to fall into ours. But if you want somebody in Canada to help, by all means, be my guest. It's just that maybe FPS isn't the right fit for you. So I would recommend that you go and start your own corporation. And I would recommend that you have everything ready to go on day one, because that's going to be out of your own pocket. I mean, don't expect me to pay for it. Then you say, hey, thanks for your help, but that's not going to happen. Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
Gotcha.
members with us, we're going to do everything we can for you. But at the same time, I'm not going to get you set up only to have somebody bolt. Because, you know, I mean, because we're going to make it, I'm going to provide the service to where you're not going to want to. You're not
Mhm.
going to get the kind of customer service that we plan on providing anywhere else.
Right. Okay, will FPS be available in the UK? I believe you said that already, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And Colin stated that South Africa, their tax is at 45%.
Right. So that may fall in line with what we're going to do with those individuals with Sweden. And if Colin wants to reach out, we can do a call through Telegram or WhatsApp, and we can talk individually. But really, what that amounts to is, I think what your better bet would be to start a company here here in the United States, or we can set up the IBC where you actually don't own it, and you would have a manager you would be the manager of that corporation, meaning that you would be in charge of everything with it, but you can't be taxed on what you don't own. I mean, what are they going to do? Charge you because you're the manager? No, they're not. So what we've done for those in Sweden may actually work in South Africa too. But again, keep in mind, Cindy, one of the great things and the things that I found out is that by talking to people both here and abroad, everybody has different needs. Everybody has both different short-term and long-term goals.
Yeah.
Not everybody falls into a one-size-fits-all category, but we can begin the process of helping those individuals through structuring some of the things the same way, but they may have to be tweaked, or they may have to be just a little bit different than the other set, because not everybody's going to fall under that same rule. And so, you know, we're doing everything we can to try to make sure that this structure is set up. Compliance is huge, right? I don't want anybody to come back and say, you know, whether it be through our government or anyone else's, you know, we want to make sure that we're in 100% compliance. And so that's why when we reached out to that international tax firm in Miami, you know, once we set through their presentation and I talked to the owner of the company and, you know, and met a couple of their CPAs on the Zoom call, we knew that this was one of the companies that we wanted to do business with. So we're not leaving any stone unturned. It's just that it takes revenue to get it all done. I mean, if somebody has, you know, okay, I'll tell you right now, if anybody wants to write me a check right now for $3 million so that I can go ahead and hire everybody that needs to be hired, then I'll be more than happy to, you know, pay that back with interest, because that's what it's going to take. You know, it's actually more than that, but that helps us get everything going in the right direction. I've got to wait for the distribution of funds, just like everybody else, but we got time. Remember, Mike can hold on to your money for 90 days before he has to claim it. So when this thing closes and the distribution of funds happens, I know that everybody's going to be in this mad scramble, kind of like the 4th of July, right? They can't wait to, you know, put the punk to the first fuse and blow something up. Well, that's how mistakes are made. What we need to do is take a collective deep breath and, okay, now that we know this is closed and now that we know kind of where we are, this is the next step that we need to take. And so we we're all in a hurry up and wait pattern, and I hate that, but it just we need the program to close, and everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, we can tailor it to everyone's needs as much as we can tailor it to everyone's needs, because we don't know what we don't know yet. You know, until it's like, you know, I have to attribute it to the fact of opening a salon. If I would have waited for everything to be perfect, I would have never opened the doors. You have to open the doors and let the business run. And then, like you said, you tweak, you adapt, you keep changing, you keep moving the flagpole based on what you see the needs are and based on what's happening, you know? So it's going to be an evolution. It's going to be ever evolving, ever changing. But for right now, I think the foundation that you have set out and your plans for the future are, you know, looking pretty bright. Okay, so Ellen wants to know, can we get access to the back office of FPS? Will we have access to the back office, Cal, of FPS?
Yeah, actually,
prior to receiving the funds?
Yes, we actually have a team of, this fell into our lap. We have a team of engineers, one of the members of TWP, and see, that's why I like using TWP members, right? Because they all see they all, you know, everybody says there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's just that some tunnels are longer than others. And we had a member reach out that actually is he's a software engineer, and he builds websites with the security, and he's got a team of about 4 or 5 individuals. And they're actually in the process of building that for us, and we have retained their services. We've signed the contract, and they're building that. And so one of the things that we're going to be putting in that, have you ever, like, okay, so there's an app out there called Mint, right? And you can link all your different accounts, whether it be through TD Ameritrade or Charles Schwab or your bank account or this, that, and the other, all in kind of one app, right? Well, how secure is that app, right?
Yeah.
Mint, right? But people are wanting to talk, well, how secure is it going to be? Well, I mean, I've got somebody who contracts with the DoD on this, right? So it's going to be as secure as it's going to be. But at the end of the day, we have government, websites that get hacked all the time. I'm not saying that something can't get hacked, but there's a difference in something being hacked and somebody having access to your account. There's going to be different layers of the security. Even if FPS's website got hacked, they might be able to see who our members are, but they wouldn't have access to their accounts, because that's going to be something totally separate. So we've got even on the web engineering side of things, we've already, I mean, you have no idea that, like, it's not just simple in, like you talked about the salon or whatever. There are so many different aspects of putting this together that when we first started, I never in my wildest dream imagined that it would be where it is. But am I an expert? No, but boy, I sure know a lot today, more today than I did 3 or 4 weeks ago, because we've literally left no stone unturned. We've thought of every worst case scenario that I can possibly think of and tried to come up with a way to combat the worst case scenario. Almost like, what do we do in the event of a zombie apocalypse? Well, there are people out there that are called preppers, and they're ready for that day. Me, however, I'm not one of the individuals that believes the zombies are going to come out of nowhere. But in this case, there are going to be situations, and we've tried to think of every viable situation that could happen and come up with a solution for what could happen.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love that. So here's a question. Can you comment on the use of unincorporated non-for-profit associations in the USA?
Well, I can, and we can also talk about unincorporated irrevocable trusts, and we can talk about a lot of different methods and avenues. We actually have, again, I keep talking about my week was pretty busy. Was on a call with a law firm over, I guess it was last Wednesday. And one of the services that they offer is an irrevocable trust. And when we were talking about them, we were talking to them actually, and we went through their documentation and their paperwork. Again, we can talk about those, but everybody's situation is different. What works for what one person wants to do is going to be completely different. And that's why it's important that when people become members and when all this comes to fruition, everybody's objectives, we are going to try to meet those 100% of the time. And it may simply be a situation where we're not a good fit, and that's okay, right? Because we aren't going to be a one size fits all. There are going to be people that, owe ye a little faith. I get that. And there's some of those people on this call right now, and they're probably shaking their head going, "Oh, I can't believe this." That's fine. But if you think that you can come up with something better in the time period that we've come up with FPS and everything that we've done, then I'll come work with you. That's my challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on with my sound, guys. I really don't know. It's a brand new computer, so I don't know. Yeah, Carl, we're going to get to Carl's question in a minute here. Let's just see. Misty, have you seen any that is FPS good to sign up now? And I believe no, correct?
Well, really what we've done is we've got the interest form out there in the Google form. And if you would just put your information in there, then we will be reaching out to those individuals. Because so here's something else that's changed. Again, when it comes to the $500,000 payout, I'm not 100% sure whether that's still going to come from Mike or whether that's going to have to come from Linda. Either way, people will get it. Okay, that's never been a question as to whether they're going to get it. The question is how it's paid and when it's paid. but people will get their 500,000. It's just a simple matter of, if Mike does it, then, you know, but the reason why we don't know the answer to that, and I know that we're being accused of holding that information back,
That
and
was
I'm
my
going to,
big
and I'm
question, by
absolutely
the
going
way.
to, I'm
That
going
was,
to
that was
absolutely
the big
answer this
question.
I need
The big
people to
elephant in the
look.
room.
Yeah, here's the deal. Like, for real. The reason I don't know the answer to that question is because I've asked myself, and we are waiting for this program to close. And then we're going to start with those questions. And the reason why is because with everybody being in Dubai and everything else, listen, they said it's going to close. We've been given a guarantee by the end of the month. These are questions that can wait another 10 days.
Mhm.
I really don't know. There is no, I'm not lying to anybody. Looking you dead in the eye right now. I don't know. It's either going to come from Mike or it'll come from Linda, or it could be a combination of both. If it comes from Linda, one of the things that we've talked about is people only taking what they think they need. You don't have to take the whole 500. That could be attributed and go back to the mass distribution of funds. So if you only need 100,000 to start, then only take 100. If you want the whole 5, take the whole 5. But remember, we're so close to the end of the year that you're going to file taxes on those. And I would also recommend that let's get the company set up. Let's get everything ready to go so that 500,000 can be distributed into the company instead of you taking on that personal responsibility for the taxes. Because once you get that 500,000, you'd better make sure that you put that money back, because when you file your taxes and you got a $500,000 payment and you didn't put that money back for it, that's going to come on you, not us. So we're trying to help people do it the right way, but they're going to get in their own way if they don't listen. That's the difference between being a head coach and an assistant. I will make the suggestion, but if people don't listen and they go out and they don't put that money back on their own, or go ahead and send a check to the IRS for say 30% of that 500, you can always do a tax return and get some back. But if people don't do it the right way, they're going to get jamstrung in April. And I'm afraid that might happen to some people. So I know that this 500,000 is a big sticking point, but it's got to be done the right way. So take a deep breath, slow down. Let's make sure we do it and do it the right way so that nobody gets in a jam come April, because that's right around the corner.
Yeah, Misty, that's right, it is. And woo-saw, everybody. Okay, so with FPS, Cal, will we need to consult outside tax advisors or attorneys, or can all that be done for us in-house?
It'll all be done in-house. We're going to have all of our client service managers hired. We will have, I've got 2 attorneys right now. One of them was a CFO, and he's also been an attorney for the Big 4 accounting groups. If you can look up what the Big 4 are, right? But he's also worked for the Big 4. He's been a CFO for a company that sold to a NYSE exchange company. And we have spoke on the phone 2 or 3 times, loves the idea. He's looking for a new challenge. And he's actually, even though he's been a CFO and he's done, you know, he's been part of acquisitions and he's been part of some major companies that if I could just tell you who they were, you'd be like, holy crap, you're really going to hire this guy? The answer is yes. He's looking for a new challenge. And one of the things that he wants to do is with the asset protection and the management that we have, he wants to help people as well. And so we've had 2 or 3 different phone calls with him, and this dude is top notch. And I think once we have the ability to introduce him and get him on a call, but again, it only takes money to get these people hired. That's all.
Right, that's right. So Cal, what kind of guarantee can you give people who join about protecting their money? In other
Well,
words, like, and for example, how easy would it be to get it out if they're not happy?
Okay, well, if I can get somebody, you know, 2 or 3% on their money just through the conservative using the domestic accounts, and if I can get that and you have $100 million and I'm able to grow your money to the tune of $3 million a year, first of all, I think that would make everybody happy. If anybody says, yeah, you know, I'm not happy with only $3 million, they're crazy. First of all, good luck. Don't join to begin with. Don't waste my time. Don't waste your time, because we're going to both be beating our heads against the wall, because I'm truly here to try to help folks. But at the end of the day, if you've truly got people that aren't necessarily happy with everything that you've done for them by having the attorneys in-house, having the CPA, then basically being able to sit back and relax and draw a paycheck on the corporation that we set up for them, if they're still not happy with that, then they don't need to start with us to begin with. That would be my best advice, because I wouldn't be looking for your out. I'd be looking for more of an in. What can we do to maybe diversify? We're bringing on one of the guys that we talked to is not only a CPA, but he's also an investment advisor. And so in his portfolio that he currently has, you know, they do mutual funds and they do all kinds of different things. We will not give advice. I won't. But if I have people that want to make investments, then we will have the financial advisor to be able to talk to. We are going to put all of that in-house. It's all going to be in-house. What I'm saying is that by the power in numbers of pooling all of our assets together, we can go get a very favorable rate of return in a very conservative non-investment type of an environment deposited into. So I might have lost you guys again.
Yeah, just
Are you
for
still
a
there?
second there. Yep, just for a second you did.
Okay, so what we have the ability to do by pulling all the assets together is go and get a favorable rate of return just on a very conservative. But when it comes to investments, I'm not making a recommendation. I won't do it. You know, I know what I'm going to do with my money, but what I'm going to do with my money may not be with what somebody else wants to do. And quite frankly, I want everybody to make their own decisions, not because, you know, because they think or they hear it's a great idea or whatever. I mean, they need to do their own research too, but we're going to be doing researches as well. Man, it looks like the boss lady's on this call. I just saw her raise her hand. Is she on this call?
Okay. Okay, let me move on with some questions. We'll figure that out in just a second. I'm not sure if this is a conversation that some of the attendees are having with each other in regards to the topic of Belize. So I don't know if this question is for you or if it's a comment about someone that made a comment about Belize, but it says, I'm in the British Virgin Island. Would you be able to send it to First Caribbean Bank? So Cal, I don't know if that's for you or if it's actually asking the gentleman who said, I'll help you with the Belize account. And
I mean, obviously, if he's already got an account set up there, then yes. I mean, we would be able to work. Now, I might not be able to get that interest rate through the First Caribbean Bank, but if he's already got an established relationship, see, that's just it. Sometimes you get a question that doesn't have enough information in the question to answer the question. But at the end of the day, again, you know, info.fpsintl@gmail.com is a great place for people to communicate back and forth. And, you know, we try to leave no stone unturned and we try to get back with folks. You know, Cindy, that's how I ended up on the phone with you for over an hour. Was you sent in a question, you sent in, you know, just I have a couple things that I want to run by you, and I just picked up the phone and called you. So that's how easily accessible I am. And so, yeah, please, I need more information to answer that question.
Can you repeat that? Info.intl.
We have a guest pop on, guys.
We do. There she is.
Hey, oh, turn that blind down some. I can't see the blind. Hold on, I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get it so you can see me.
Okay, Cal, just
The other
finish
side.
that that Gmail, please. Info.intl.
Where is it? Up. Oh, here it is.
Okay. info.fpsintl@gmail.com.
Okay. But I didn't
Hey
want to
guys,
have
before Linda comes on, listen, I just want to give you my condolences, Linda.
absolutely.
I'm certainly sorry. You know, I got the call last night about your sister, and you've been in my prayers and my thoughts, and we really haven't had a chance to talk since then. I hate that this is the first chance I've had a chance to talk to you since then, but you know, my
Yeah.
prayers and thoughts go out to you, and if there's anything, just call me when we're done.
We were
Oh, I
actually
know that.
going to end this call in prayer for you. So I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah.
Thank you. I happen to remember, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what time was that webinar? What time was that Zoom? You know, and I had to check my calendar real quick and figure out what time it was. I'm sorry for the glare. I'm in the bedroom just to try to give the husband some peace. And
It's
my
okay.
girlfriend just came in.
Hi.
My girlfriend just came in to be with me for a few days to help me work through this. So, but I'm just glad to be able to come on and jump on and say, hi, I'm a real person. Because
Oh,
everybody only hears me. They never see me. So I am a real person.
this is excellent. Excellent. Thank you for being here. I mean, it's a surprise. It's such a welcome surprise. So thank
I
you.
know. I know you should see Misty's face when she realized I had popped up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad, I'm just, and Cal, I got a word of warning for you. Stay out of my quotes. He used one of my quotes. Stay out of my quote basket.
Oh, he's so funny. He's there. He was having connection issues, and he shut his video off so that we
he does. Even when we talk late at night, and he has to be outside. So I'm gonna have to get all of these questions, all of my information from him before it gets too cold in Oklahoma for him to sit outside and talk to me at night. So.
Okay. And Linda, if we can, we've just got a few more questions, and then we'll
go for it.
And say what
go
you
for it.
say and address the crowd here. Okay. So Alan says, I'm a dual US and Canadian citizen. I file with both the IRS and Canada. Are there any special instructions for someone like me? I think that's probably a tax financial advisor question.
That is definitely a financial advisor question.
It will be.
Because you want to take in, and Cal, correct me if I'm wrong, figure out where you're going to get your best tax advantage before you take and file, and figure out how you're going to have it come in, whether you're going to have it come into Canada or if you're going to have it come into the States.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion, humble opinion.
And it also depends on where he sets his company up too. Is he going to set it up
Mhm.
domestically or internationally? If he sets up a Canadian company, then the IRS, or is he going to set it up here domestically and then receive the payroll? Where does he currently live, even though he's a dual citizen? Does he live here in the States? Does he live in Canada? So sometimes the question is simple, but there's not enough information to answer.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables, and we don't have those answers right now. So good to keep them in the back of our mind, though. Okay, so Beverly asks, I heard in Zooms early in June that who your sponsor is, they pay you, but don't know if that changed. Mike G said that he pays who joined him, but that might have changed. I don't know. I don't understand that question.
Okay, I'll take this one, Cal.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, here's the deal. We don't know if Mike G is paying out the members of TWP directly, or if I have to pay them. Okay.
I've already covered that, by the way.
Oh,
just so you know.
But
I think and that's just it. And the reason we don't know, and I even unmuted and I undid my video. And Linda, I did it because I'm like, I wanted people to see, right? We don't know because we wanted Mike to close the program and then hit with the hard questions. Okay, now that we've got this done, is Linda going to pay the TWP members out, or is Mike going to? And so we wanted them to close. And I know that there's people like, well, they know what's going to happen. Well, we really don't, because we're waiting for it to close and find out just like everyone else. But I did talk about that.
Didn't you tell me when we were on the phone that it's changed a number of times? So whatever it is now, it might not be this next week or 2 weeks from now.
And that is exactly it. One of the things that Mike says is that the only thing that's constant about this whole deal is change. And things change sometimes minute to minute, day to day, hour to hour. So the concept is we are gone. I am going to talk to Mike once this thing closes, give him a day to work through things. And I'm going to sit on him if I have to get this answer. Okay. Because we need to know, because number one, we need to know if we have to get a paymaster, because there's no way that we can physically do 6,000 members in a feasible amount of time with just me going to the bank. It's not going to happen. It's going to take me a month to pay everybody. So a paymaster is set up for this. They're set up for bulk payments like this. And in the meantime, before I even get an answer from him, I am contacting paymasters, and so is Cal, and we're trying to get the best ones that we can. We actually want to bring one on staff. That was something that once we found out what a paymaster does, we're like, hey, we need one of these with FPS.
Yes.
Let's hire one. And that's
And
what
not
we
only
want to
that,
do.
the reason why we thought about that, and I didn't even go into that, is because if you look at the fees of a paymaster, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1% to 0.25%, right?
Wow.
Well, even at 0.25%, I mean, when you're talking a mass distribution of funds, let's say that guy that has $100 million coming their way, just to get their money, they're going to pay $1 million. That's crazy. That's too much, right? So even at 0.25% means they're paying $250,000 just to get their 100 million. Again, that's still, in my opinion, highway robbery. But if we hire a paymaster that works for us, those
No,
fees,
it's his fee.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, paying that and paying.
Oh, go ahead. We're over here
I'm
having
sorry.
we have a side conversation going. Sorry. We're sharing earbuds.
Hey, Joe?
It's nice to see you guys.
Okay, so basically, Cal, can you please tell me if I get an international check, what else do I need to produce to my bank that it is legit? I'm sure Mike or Linda will take care that I have all the docs that I need.
Right. And one of the things that we are still, it's kind of up in the air, I think, right, is that well, okay, so we've got our government involved in this, right? The Department of Treasury, Department of Homeland Security. So it's not like they don't know what's going on. And Linda and I have discussed whether Mike is going to send one letter that covers everybody for their payout, or if Mike is going to have to generate a letter, or the government's going to have to, for every individual that's involved. Now, I can tell you this, if the government has to generate a letter for everybody that's involved, remember when we talked about hurry up and wait?
Yeah.
When's the last time our government got in a hurry to do anything? So I'm hoping that based on that, that one letter to Mike would be enough for those banking institutions to realize that the funds weren't either, attributed through money laundering, or because, we got members in the cartel, or whatever the case may be, that it's really just that one letter will solve any questions that may arise through the banking institutions. But again, it's still one of those that it's subject to change. And quite frankly, I wish I had the answer, but I don't. But
Yeah.
it's either going to be, we're going to all have to get our own letters. And how long does that take for the government to give it? Don't know. If one blanket letter from Mike works for every individual that's involved, that would be nice. But again, we don't know the answer.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Brady and Alan, thank you. You're very welcome. They said, thanks for answering all of my questions. And Dave, who's the lady on the cam? Linda, the boss lady. She's the head of TWP, Together We Profit. I'm not sure who you got here through, but this is what originally this call set up for, was the TWP group. And Linda, you want to say a few words? Where did she go?
Hold on.
Okay. How many members do we have on TWP?
Okay. I flipped around. I'm sorry.
There you are. How many members in TWP as of this date?
In TWP, we have at least 6,000.
There you go. Okay, so I mean, he wanted to know who the lady was on the cam, and that would be you, the boss lady.
This is the one and only.
Yeah.
I didn't like the background. Sorry. And I'm not in the best of shape right now, so you all can understand that. But I wanted to jump on and let everybody know what was going on.
We're so happy that you're here, and yeah, we'll get to
Very appreciated.
really get
Thank
to you
you.
at the end. Yeah, we really appreciate you, Linda. Okay.
Oh, I understand that, and I know that, and I do feel the love. I mean, I do feel the love. Please don't get me wrong. I get emails every day, whether it's a text message or a PM or an email saying, thank you for everything. I get several of those a day, and trust me, they are appreciated. I don't always acknowledge them, but they are appreciated, because there's certain times of the day where it'll just come through and it'll just be the perfect thing that I need to see or hear at that point.
Divine intervention, my love.
There you go. There you go.
John, from a tax point of view, what will the 500K be classed as? Unearned income? Question mark, question mark. Well, again, isn't it going to be dependent on how they fill out their taxes? I mean,
You're going to have to wait because
Yeah,
I was told that it was going to come in as a loan repayment and then was told that no, that's not right. So you're probably just going to have to wait until, we get it and Mike's attorneys and CPAs decide on exactly how it needs to be classified. Unfortunately, that's not something that we know at this time.
okay. Ellen, I don't know until we get through all the questions. That's when we're going to end. All right, let's see. Okay, a lot of condolences coming in for you, Miss Linda.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. And a lot of appreciation as well. Someone please put the website address in the chat. We did that. What's the email address that was said? Well, we did that. If you need that again, Ingrid, just let us know. She says she's so excited. She only gets about 3 hours sleep a night. Well, I want whatever you're taking. No, just kidding. Okay. Let's see.
Okay, hey, I did see a question pop up just now. It said, how are you going to put millions in the bank when only 250,000 of that is insured by the FDIC?
Right.
All right, so I'm one of those individuals that I hate to lose more than I enjoy winning.
Okay,
And
I didn't get that
because
far
I've been
yet.
coaching
Sorry.
for, I've been coaching for 25 years. First of all, your amount's off. It's $500,000 because you've got a business, but it's per account. It's not just a $500,000, it's per account. So if you've got $100 million and we want to make sure that money is insured by the FDIC, what we got to figure out is how many accounts do we need for your business to be able to insure the money up to 100 million. It's going to be a lot of accounts. Every account will have $500,000 in it. Okay. So at the end of the day, it's going to take an absolute enormous amount of work to get all the accounts set up for all the different companies. But then somebody said, well, does the money deposit into FPS's account? No, it wouldn't. It'd be in your business account, which we're bringing as FPS as one big bulk, but it's still in your account that you own, that you control, that we manage for you on your behalf. And so it would never be ours. It would never go into our account. It will only ever go into yours. And so, if it takes two accounts for $1 million, think about how many accounts we're going to have their business account set up for those individuals that have $100 million. It's a lot, but that's the way to guarantee that the FDIC insures the money, is that it's up to $500,000 per account. So we just open multiple accounts under one business.
Excellent. Okay, I want to go back. Carl, who had the original question about the 500K, which was addressed, wants to know, I guess he's not clear on whether Mike is paying us or Mike is paying Linda in bulk, and Linda has to pay us.
We covered that too.
Yeah, we did. But Carl
said
it matters, right? It matters because we can pledge to Mike if it makes a difference. No, you don't need to pledge to Mike. You don't need to. You're going to get your $500,000, your initial $500,000 out of whatever you have coming, whether it's from Mike or whether it's from Linda. They just don't have the details on that yet. You will get your money. So you're going to get it either way. Okay. And as for when, we don't know. Nobody's been paid yet.
Right. We don't know, but let me tell you this. I'm thinking, and I'm pretty close to doing it, that we're actually going to give you an option. So it's not going to be just that you have to take $500,000, because a lot of people don't want to lose $250,000 to taxes. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to give you the option that you can take between $100,000 and $500,000. So you're not even having to take the full $500,000. And again, it's an advance on your funds. So you can take whatever you want from, say, $100,000 up to $500,000. Because if you don't need it, don't take it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So yeah, now that's if I have to pay you. If the funds are coming into me by bulk and I have to pay you, then you're going to have that option. if you're strictly with Mike and he pays you the 500, then you get 500. He's not going to make that option. His is straightforward. Okay.
Mhm.
We're not going to know this until next week sometime. Hopefully, once we close, we'll know, because then I'll be able to talk to Mike and sit down with him and say, look, I need to have these answers. I know that he is totally scrambling right now to get those final, $1 million pledges in, because all those funds were not liquid. They're working on getting them liquid. They're working on getting them out to Korea so that this whole deal can close.
Yeah. Thank you, Linda. And Carl, as far as when, we don't know when. That's just such an open-ended question. There really is. We've said that I know 100 different ways, but we don't know
Right.
when.
Well,
And
we can't, wait a minute, we can't give an answer to that, because Mike doesn't have an answer to that.
Right.
Mike doesn't know when he's getting the money.
Yeah.
Because we're not closed yet. We're not closed tomorrow. When are we closing, and how long is it going to take for Mike to get the money? That is a big thing there, because we're not sure on how long it's even going to take him. Now, what I can say is that when we're ready to get the money through TWP, if that's the way that we go, we're going to have a paymaster set up already. It's going to go right into their escrow, and it's going to be ready to be sent out as soon as I have everybody's information. Now, am I going to send him 6,000 names and banking information? Probably not. I would venture to say that between him and us, we're going to make these arrangements, and we're going to send, maybe 200, 500, whatever he can handle at a time, but we're going to get these in and get them moving. We're going to get them moving. It's going to take me time to get all 6,000 done.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And so we just have to, again, it's like, just breathe. Everybody breathe. Just breathe. We can work with what we have, and what we don't have, it's coming. So you just have to be patient. I mean, everyone needs what's coming to them. Everybody. So we just have to be patient, and let's not start rumors out there because we're mad because it didn't happen fast enough or the way that we wanted it to happen, because this isn't about us. Okay, so just remember that. This is about everybody, not just you, whoever you are. Okay, I just had to put that in there.
I saw that Dave put something on this little chat. I went and started trying to read so I could keep up with things. And Dave said, hey, the FDIC is a huge fraud. There's no way the government can pay out multi-trillions of dollars if the banks fail. Put it in gold, silver, Bitcoin. I mean, I don't really even trust Bitcoin either. I mean, a currency can disappear tomorrow, or a really good currency other than the US. That's why we're going to have options. But at the end of the day, if the banks all fail, there's more than 1,500 FPS members that are going to get screwed. You're looking at more like 300 million Americans that's going to affect. So, I mean, I think we all have bigger issues than if all the banks fail. I mean, that's kind of a zombie apocalypse type of mentality that I try not to get myself caught up in. Right. So I feel like, everything is a legitimate concern, but at the same time, I can only control what I can control. And, I can't. And so if the government's going to insure that at $500,000 per account for a business, then we have multiple accounts. I mean, to say that they can't, pay out trillions of dollars or whatever the case may be, if the banks all fail, I don't foresee that being an issue. But again, I mean, the dinosaurs were extinct for a reason too, right? They're all gone. And, and so I can't control the asteroid that may hit the Earth, but I can, certainly do the best that I can to, live life while I'm here. So, and I don't mean to be like sarcastic with that, but I mean, again, I'm trying to do everything we can to help folks and not put that fear out there of what if all the banks fail? Well, there's 300 million Americans that are going to be affected by that, not just the 14 or 1,500 FPS members.
Well,
that's a big deal.
Hey, guys, think about it this way too, that not all of the money is going to be kept onshore.
That's right.
Some of our members want their money to be kept offshore, and there's several places offshore that this funds can go to. So you're not just worried about all of this. We have money, and those aren't all insured over there either. So you got to think about it. No matter where you have your money, it's not insured. Hey, we're talking about an apocalypse. Who's not to say that we don't have cowboys and robbers and Indians and come by and rob the bank that's holding our gold?
So, and Linda, we've already talked about Panama. We talked about Costa Rica. We've talked about some other, options in the Cook Islands and the Caribbean. Talked about, Belize with the IBC out of, St. Kitts and Nevis. We've talked, before you hopped on, we talked about a lot of those different options. And again, everybody's in charge of their own company. We are an asset protection. We've set up to be asset protection to try to help you make good decisions. But again, everybody is going to be making their own decision. We're just going to merely offer suggestions. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Because I'll tell you what, I'm not licensed to teach you I'm not licensed to tell you how to invest your money and what to do with it. I am going to work with you with trying to keep it.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Dave, I know a person whose father lost over $1 million in 2008 and he got very little from the, okay.
Linda, I am recording this meeting and I've got some people asking how I'm going to post it. How would you, because it will be unlisted unless they have, the link. How do you want me to just give it to you and you can email it, or do you want, okay.
Yeah, I can email it, or if it's okay, I can go ahead and add it to the website. We do have actually a TWP website that's just about done.
Yeah.
They're waiting for me to go in, look at it, make any final changes, which I'm hoping to get that done in between everything else that's got to be done over the next few days, because I want to get that up and running as soon as possible. I will actually have calls with them Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. They work on the website live with me. So I do have the back office people that I will be working with tonight and tomorrow. They've actually got quite a bit of it done. So they're waiting on to get this last couple of parts done, and the back office should be live here shortly. And then all we'll have to do is put in buy-in number 6, which if I can get into those figures and start pulling information out, that'll be ready to go in, and they'll be building that with buy-in number 6 as we're showing them being paid on our end. So it is a process that is slow. It's tedious because look at this last buy-in, and I'm going to go try to left track. Look at this last buy-in. This last buy-in this form has been completed 8,500 times and it's not done yet. Yeah. Okay. So there are still people that are paying via Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever else, that hasn't filled out the form yet. So those still have to be filled out. And there's all kinds of invoices that still need to be done today. I mean, I'm looking at over 200 more invoices that need to be done today that may not be done today. They may be done tomorrow, but don't worry, if you have an invoice, it'll be done. Just hang tight with us. But all of this is being worked on at the same time, so that we're hoping that this is going to be done real quick. I'm having the bare minimum put into the back office of the TWP website, which is what we need to get everybody's payment if this is what we need to do.
Excellent. And with that, let me just follow that up with, tonight is the absolute deadline at midnight to make your pledge. So as long as you have it in by 11:59, it will be honored.
Yes, it will be honored.
Okay. All right. And when will the Skype group and all social media be shut down?
It will be shut down after we've closed and I've gotten things worked out enough that the back office is up and running without a problem. And that's the biggest thing. I have to have the back office up and running of the TWP site, so that when I send out an email that I send out every day that gives you all of the details of what's going on, all it's going to tell you is check for an update in your back office. Because at that point, it keeps the people who don't need to be getting this information, it keeps them out of our back office. So at that point, only paid members will have access to the back office, because you, the pledge holder, any pledge holder that is in here that I have the email for, is going to get an invite to your back office. And that's how you're going to log in, and that's how you're going to set it up. And those are the only people that are going to have access to it, is if I have your email to put you in the back office.
And would that be if they signed up for your email updates, or if they're on the forums, or?
Have to be on the form. You have to have filled out a buy-in form, whether it's 1 through 6. Okay. Remember how I keep saying, this is how you're getting paid. This is why this is important. This is how you're getting paid. Those emails that are in that form is what is going to get an email invite to get into your back office, and you only see what is in your back office.
Amazing.
You're not going to see Misty's. I'm not going to see Cal's. I'm not going to see, Paula's. I'm not going to see Jonathan's. I'm only going to see what's in there under my email address as the boss lady.
Okay.
And we're working on something for the sponsors. That may be a week or two later, but it's going to take us about that long to get everything up and make sure everybody's validated. We are working on something for the sponsors so that the sponsors, when you go in, you will actually see who you have sponsored and how many positions they've purchased.
Oh, okay, beautiful. So we don't have to be archaic anymore and keep our own little notes.
Right. And it'll go by, it'll show up by when you filled out your buy-in 6 or 4 or whatever. The one question I ask is, who is your sponsor? And that's what it's going to pick up. Okay. It's going to pick up that sponsor. Now, I do have sponsor changes in the back office that I need to make. So don't worry. I also have email changes I have to make. So all of these are going to be taken care of. So it might just be a little bit before it's all taken care of, but we're also going to have a way for you that if you look in there and you see that something's wrong, there's going to be a little clip over here that says something's wrong. Click here. Boom. It's going to open up an email for you. You're going to tell me what's wrong, not what's right, but what's wrong. Yes. Write it out. There's not going to be a way to put a picture on here. So if you need to send me a hashtag, you're going to have to copy it and paste it on there. But you're going to tell me what's wrong, what's missing, and we're going to fix it. When you're completely done and we are completely closed, I have another little button that's going to pop up for everybody. And that button's going to say, my account is correct. When you click on that says my account is correct, it's then going to pop up and say, this account is correct. You're verifying that this account is correct, because once you hit, yes, this is correct, there are no changes.
Game over.
And there will be no change.
Yeah.
Because I have to take and make sure that everybody's is done. We're going to be after, if I have, sponsors, I don't have emails. I have this, I don't have this. We're going to be going after sponsors. We're going to be putting out a list that says, we need help. We already know that I have fill in the blanks that has, 100 lines on it already that still hasn't been fixed. Yeah. I do. Some of those need to be fixed, but it's just going to take time. I have a group of ladies who I trust, because honestly, I was very, very picky with who I chose to work with me, because every email address that they have access to, people, you have to remember, every one of those emails is a millionaire. How valuable of an email list is this that we're working off of? 6,000 emails for millionaires plus. It is absolutely ridiculous. And that's why I wouldn't just look at bringing anybody on. I talked to some people. We knew that they were trustworthy, and that's why I brought them on.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And we thank you for vetting and really being careful as to who actually you let into our private lives.
Yes.
We appreciate that. So,
yeah,
okay.
Because I'll be honest with you, they see every email that comes into me too.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important that when I tell you to take and use a certain subject line, that you use it, because what happens is these ladies are, I don't want to say designed, but they're trained to go into certain folders that are in my personal email account. That's how they work. Everybody works out of my personal email account. I got a lot of passwords to change when we're done. Trust me.
Yeah.
But they go in and they work off of certain folders to make sure that this happens for you guys. And by you taking and not putting the proper subject line, it means that I have to look through it then. That's how come I have 200 emails at a time to look through, because I'm getting stuff that doesn't come into the right folders because you're not putting the right subject lines. And it puts me behind, and then, boom, we're behind all around. So
it may seem a little you know, minute to some one person out here, but it's a huge deal to you who has to deal with 6,000 people. So yeah, everyone just needs to be cognizant of what they're doing and don't skim your updates. They need to really read them and read them twice before they,
Yes.
yeah, before they send an email. That's a good idea.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I take and I look at Mike's email daily, I read it. I kind of skim through it and read it, kind of figure out where he's going with it.
Yeah.
You know, look for my quote of the day between what he says and how I'm feeling for the day. Look for my quote, you know, get it all done. And then before I send it out to you, I take and read it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've only skimmed through it and I've caught certain words like a speed reader would. And then I have to go back and I slowly read it again. And I have to, because I'll catch something the second time that I didn't catch the first time.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So we're double proofing, triple proofing, and quadruple proofing, because that's how important each and every email is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go back to one question I think I missed here from Brady, and they're asking, would we still be able to use FPS if we wanted to use our local bank in the United States?
You could, however, with that being said, if you use your local bank and you wanted to, you're not going to be able to be part of the negotiated interest rate. You'd have to go in and do your own. But as far as everything else goes, then the answer to that question would be yes.
Okay.
As far as, but when it comes to the interest rate, and you know, we would probably need to talk to that individual instead of just whatever, because I mean, here's the problem that they're going to have when they use their local bank. They're liable to go into their local bank with assets bigger than that local bank even have altogether, and that's a fear. So by making sure that it's one of the big banks in this country that have the ability to handle these large deposits. I mean, you're only looking at about 5 or 10 of them, right? Before you get into a situation where you might have a local bank with 2 or 3 branches, and you know, you look up and they've got, you know, 90 million in assets, which for a bank, a small bank, that's a lot, right? But you walk in with, you know, $400 million, you've just quadrupled the size of their bank, you know?
Mhm.
And so at the end of the day, I would have a fear of that. I would want to talk to that individual before I'd be able to give them 100% advice, because then by not coming on board with FPS, you wouldn't receive the negotiated interest rate that we have by putting all of the pie into the same oven. So,
Right.
you know, I mean, there are certainly some things that we could do to help, but at the end of the day, you're only getting half of everything that we're trying to provide for everybody. So again, people can do what they want. It's not a great fit for everybody. I wish them luck, but at the same time, I'd rather have a phone call with that person than tell them, yeah, go ahead and use your local bank, but here's what you won't get. I mean, if I've been able to negotiate, everybody gets 2 or 3%, and you go to your local bank and they're only going to give you 1, don't come crying back to me, right? I mean, and so it's going to
There's
have
strength in numbers.
there is strength in numbers, and there's power in numbers, right?
Yep. Okay, let's see, Linda. So with TWP and for these last minute pledges, we can pledge just a quantity of 2 pledges, correct?
Yes. If you need a invoice, it must be at least 2 pledges due to the fact of the fees that they take off. If we take any less than that, we wind up losing money and we can't afford that. So it has to be a minimum of 2 pledges, and you have to have them in by midnight. Now, here's the thing you need to remember, that we're closing at midnight, but Mike is still open. Okay. He told you that in his email yesterday, that he's still open. Now he will still accept pledges for $270, which is what our pledges are. But you must put in TWP group as your sponsor. If you don't, what happens is that
You revert back to Mike's payout, not the TWP thing.
bingo. And when you're looking at 12 million versus 280 million, I think I want to make sure that I have TWP group as my sponsor.
And you know, that also solves another, let me quickly run through the numbers real quick for those people like, well, how can you pay more than Mike's paying on that pledge? Okay, what I want you to do is, I want you to go into Mike's website and look at what the $100,000 pledge pays out. It's over 15, I think it's like $15.25 billion, right? It's
wait, Cal, get your numbers right. It's 61.875.
Okay, well, whatever, right? So at the end of the day, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I told you, I'm just trying to have people look it over. This is how TWP can pay more than what Mike is, because TWP has already reached the $100,000 pledge threshold. So the fact is now every time there is the 100,000, it just keeps compounding on top of each other. And that's why the payout is so much, because it's spread amongst everybody that's a member of the group. But because that 100,000 threshold for Mike's payout has already been there, we've done the math a million ways to Sunday, and it's right. And so you can, because not too many people have the ability to throw $100,000 at Mike for the collateralized loan program. But by joining a group that has already met that threshold, that's why your payout can be much higher than a $500 pledge with Mike at, say, $12.5 million.
Okay. Okay. And so I'm trying to just kind of hurry things along here. We've been on the phone for a long time. So if they need to change their name based on the name that they originally used, they can do that later, Linda? Uh-oh, she went away.
Okay, well, we've had a
Oh, there
change.
she is.
I'm here. I'm here.
Go
Did
ahead,
you
Linda.
hear the question?
I didn't. I'm sorry. My
Okay,
daughter
that's
called. I'm
okay.
trying to get my girlfriend to
It's
call her.
okay.
Hey guys,
It's
listen,
okay.
I've got another call that I got to hop on that I committed to. But I'm going to leave the rest of this call with Linda. Linda, I'll be in touch with you when it's done. Guys, thank you for hopping on and at least listening to
Cal,
my
thank you
portion.
so much.
Linda
Thank you.
can handle the rest of it.
We appreciate you, Cal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So
I'm
listen,
sorry.
if
What
they
was
have
that?
it's okay. If they have a name change that needs to be changed, they can do that. There will still be time to make any
Yes.
changes. Okay.
Yeah. What's going to happen is actually here's the deal. When you go into your back office the very first time, it's going to have a name. It's going to have an email. Okay. Because we're going to give you the email that you signed up with if I haven't already changed it. Okay. So let's change. I may have some of these emails changed. I may not. If something's wrong and I tell you everybody's got them and there's something wrong, you'll have a way to contact me and we'll work it out. But one of the things that you're going to be able to do is go in and you're going to give me your name. You're going to put whatever name that you need in there. You're going to give me your address, your social number and all like that. If we need all of that to do work with the paymasters, if not, we won't be needing as much information, but you will have that back office and you will be able to change whatever you need to change down to your email, your password, your phone number. You'll be able to change all of that.
Okay. And it looks like these questions, since you hopped on, are really more about all of these TWP things. So that's good that you're here. All right. What if you've made an amendment to a position name? Do they need to complete a new Google form for that person?
No,
Okay.
no. Do not go back in and fill out another Google form. There is nothing that you don't send me in an email that I can't fix. Meaning if you have to send me in a pledge proof and you say, hey, I need this name changed. Okay, well, we go in and we mark the pledge as being paid. And then we put that into a name change. And then we get to the name change when we get to them. I mean, I literally have a lot in the name change. I have, I've already, before we went into this final pledge drive, I already had 1,072 positions switched. And I now, on top of that, have over 120 emails that I have to do for position switches. And I don't know how many positions is involved in each one of those.
Okay, thank you. Will others be able to see in our back office how many pledges we made and who is our sponsor when you have more than one sponsor?
Okay. Yes, because what's going to happen, okay, you are the only one that's going to see your back office other than whoever is hired to work in the back office. Okay, that's our designer, Daniel, who's going to be helping with that since it's all banking that had to do with TWP. Daniel's going to be in there. I'm going to be in there. And whoever else I actually hired to take and work in there with us. That is going to be an even more secured person that's going to come in there that I'm really going to work with and make sure that I really trust these people that go in there. You will see each individual pledge that you made. So if you were in pledge number 1 and you bought 10 spots and then later on you bought 20, and then you didn't come back in again till pledge number 3, and you bought 50 spots, and then you only bought 4 spots, and then you didn't come back in again till number 6, and you bought 3 times at number 6, you're going to see each one of those individually in your back office.
Okay.
Now, why did I do that? Because remember, I said I'm going to send out an email verification. This is going to take care of that email verification. It's not going to be an email verification. You're going to verify it in your own back office. Each one of those lines are going to be designed with a check mark that only you can fix. I can't touch it in the back office. Okay. So we're going to have it fixed so that we can't touch it in the back office. So if you go in and you click that pledge number 1, 2, 6, 7, 10, and 12 are done, and those other ones aren't, then that's when you're going to go in and you're going to click on that button that says something's wrong. And you're going to tell me, hey, pledge 2 should be 15 positions, not 14, or pledge 10 should be 50 positions, not 20. So you're going to be able to tell me what's wrong with each one. And I'm going to be able to go back in and figure out what went wrong, where did it go wrong, and fix it in the back office, and then send you an email and say, hey, look, I fixed it. Is it okay now? Go ahead and look at it, update it. And then we'll make sure that everything is perfect before you click that button. In each one of those lines, as you filled them out in the pledge forms, it will have your sponsor. If Linda came in and used Misty to sponsor her for 20, she came in and used Cindy to sponsor her for 50. Each one of those are going to be listed individually so that if there's something wrong and you say, oh, nope, this isn't Cindy, this is supposed to be Misty, I can go back in and change it. But you, as the pledger, are the only one who can have me change your sponsor. A sponsor cannot come back to me and say, this person is mine. Okay. No, it's the person's responsibility that came in and paid on who their sponsor is. So I don't care if Misty and Cindy are fighting over me because they want my money. It ain't happening. I make the decision on whether Cindy's my sponsor or Misty. And it has to be that way. It's the only way that's valid because that's the person that paid.
Yeah.
So it's their decision.
Okay, and you know what? That was one of my questions is, I think in the very beginning when I got involved back March, I was a little confused when I was filling out my very first form because I don't know, there was something wrong. There was a little confusion with the sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess the bottom line is no matter what is going on, whether it's form 2, whether it's form 6 or 4, we're going to be able to go in and fix everything.
Yep.
No matter what it is before we are paid. That's a very intricate software program.
Well, it's not really because I believe it's all off of a database, because I know I have to build the database and then all the information is going in the database and then they're taking it and putting it into the back office. So it should be just as simple as going in and changing, a spreadsheet. I should be able to go in and take Cindy's name off and put Misty's name on it and it be done. Go in and see that, oh yeah, when I look back at this blockchain, it wasn't 14 positions, it was actually 15, and go in and change the number and it's done. And it's also going to give you a running total. Now it's also going to tell you, because we're putting in each one individually, there's pledge swaps, there's position swaps. Like Cindy said, oh, well, I really like Misty this week and I'm going to give her 2 positions. Then each one of those are going to show up. Yeah, I know. Wasn't that nice of you, Cindy? So what's going to happen is that on Cindy, she's going to see a -2 positions. And then under notes, she's going to see given to Misty. And then under Misty, she's going to see where she's been added, and it's going to say a gift from Cindy.
Wow.
So you're going to actually see every single one of those positions that went in and out. Okay. Now you're going to see some of them. Remember that some of you took and purchased from an upline who was selling in bulk. So there was a few people that are actually getting the commissions off of a couple of sales. And that's really just 2 large sponsors. you're going to actually see where their name's going to be in the sponsorship. And then it's going to say under it, because it was a swap, that it was a purchase from a leader. It would be a leader purchase or something along those lines, so that it triggers your mind that says, oh, wow, yeah, you know, Misty took and bought from the leaders, and that that commission is now going to Paula. It's not going to go to Cindy. Okay, so sometimes there's going to be multiple, and that's why we're also working at that every sponsor is actually going to wind up hopefully seeing a list. If not, I'm going to wind up printing it from the back office, and every sponsor, once we're done, will get a list of who they have as a downline and how many positions, so that they can also figure out how much in commissions they're making.
That's excellent. Okay, will FPS have 24/7 tech support?
We are looking at that. What we're looking at is that some of our managers that we have, because they're going to be working different time zones, I want them to try to work their time zones. So
Okay.
if we have a person who's working Australia, I want them to work Australian time. If I have somebody in the UK, I want them to work the UK time. You know, same thing with Panama, Mexico, Africa, wherever. You know, we're going to have, I want to have people in at different time zones. Yes.
Okay,
That is the goal. That is the goal. It may not happen at first,
yeah.
but that is the goal. Okay. And then we're also looking that if I need to, you know, maybe we need to add a chat to the back office and have one of our workers work the chats until say midnight,
Nice.
you know, and just kind of work our schedules around it. So we're going to actually try to get the people out there and working for you as long as we can during the day, if not 24 hours.
Okay, perfect. Okay, how do I join FPS? Well, I know that there was an email that went out and it was an interest form, so it's not an actual join form. But Linda, do you have access to that link right offhand? Because if not, I can go find it if Misty wants to take over the questions for a minute. No? Okay, never mind. She's shaking her finger at me. Okay.
Why would I set, wait a minute, why would I
website.
set a website without the most important information?
The website.
Duh.
I forgot.
Go to the website. Go to the website.
You go.
So
Okay.
it has a list of asset management. Did I put that up there? No, I didn't. That's on the TWP. If you go to the second tab, you're going to find all 5 conversations that Cal and I have had for you all. The introductory and the 4 question and answers that we've done so far. All of that's on the back, in the back office, in there already. Look under conferences and forums. Now, you'll also see on that same page, the 2 forms. One is if you have a question, we just ask that you fill it out once for every question that you have. Once you start listening, fill out that form. We will eventually probably put it on either a frequently asked question sheet that we're working on for the back office, or it'll be answered live in one of our calls, or Cal will send you an email with the answer.
Okay.
And then the other form that's there is the join form. It's that you're interested, and basically it asks you how many positions you have. Are they all with us? Are they direct with Mike? You know, where do you live? That kind of thing. It's just a simple thing. It's just giving us a general idea of how many people are wanting to come with us.
Which
and right now,
which leads me to this question. I apologize. I've been to the website and I totally forgot. But if we filled out the I'm interested form prior to the website, do we then need to go back into the website and fill that out now? Okay, so
it's the same. It's the same form. It's just that it's attached there, and I don't need it. And it's actually in. If you get the TWP emails, and I send out something for FPS, I use the same emails, the same system. I just have a different template set up for FPS. So anybody who is in TWP, if I'm sending out something for FPS, you automatically get it.
Okay.
So even if you're not interested, you still get it.
I have a quick question because I'm not real. I mean, I'm a little computer okay, but as far as these Google forms, I have helped other people and have filled out forms for them. As a matter of fact, I have one of my here now. But because, you know, some people just aren't computer savvy. When I go to the Google form, my email is at the very top of the form automatically. is that the email that you're going to be, okay, so, all right, that's all I
No,
wanted to know.
that is
Okay,
that is something that when you started there, I'm like, no.
okay, good.
That is something that Google does. Google has it. It's a quick link. So if you actually clicked on that, say you're coming back in and you want to place another order, you can hit that quick link, and it's going to fill it in pretty much
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
But if you go in and you're filling it out for me, if you put in my email address right there on that front screen, it'll pick up whatever you physically put in. It's going to pick it up.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're getting to the end here. Let's see. I don't know if I've missed anything. Wendy, I put the website address there for you, honey. And if you can't see it, let me know.
Cindy, you can also put it in our Telegram that we have if you would like, because
Yeah, I will. Okay. Let's see. Bridget wants to know. I know Michigan has a lawsuit. I'm curious if I've made a purchase, why Michigan can make no more purchases and everyone else still can. Just curious.
Okay. Michigan cannot purchase directly. I'm putting it that way.
Okay.
You cannot purchase directly. Okay.
I'll read between the lines.
I'm glad. That's why I put it that way.
Yes.
because she is wanting to do, she did like 65. She's wanting to do whatever puts her up to 73 more pledges. Can she indirectly?
We're not saying that. We're going to
Gotcha.
say contact Misty. Contact Misty. We're just leaving it at that. Because if you're already in the system, we don't take you out. Okay, we're not going to take you out. Mike's already said that, he is going to honor and accept the pledges. He just cannot take any more due to the lawsuit. Now,
Gotcha.
he was taken to court again. I'm going to tell you that. Okay, he was taken to court again. Last week, he signed another document along with that same court case. And they have said that we see that you took more people from Michigan after this lawsuit was done. So now you were ready to fine you. However, they just slapped him on the wrist, for lack of better words again. No fines were done. He just signed the paperwork that says he will not take anyone else from Michigan. And that's why I turned around and posted it and put it on the sheet, because we don't want Mike in trouble. Because if something like that was to happen at this point, it would hurt the system. It would hurt the whole thing. And that's what we don't want. We are too close to this finish line for anything to happen. So we've stopped taking everybody direct from Michigan, and we're working the system.
Excellent.
There were no fines or anything like that. But there is an amendment to the original SEC court case on file.
Okay. I don't see. Oh, okay. So if someone sponsored someone from Michigan, they want to know, how does that work? I think you've already.
It's not going to change anything. Nope, it's not going to change.
Okay. I believe that we've really hit a lot of the questions that people had.
Thank you.
One question, I do see one question. I've never heard of Paymaster, so I guess I have this question too. How does that work?
I had neither.
Yeah,
Until I
I've
asked
never
you.
heard of Paymaster. I've heard of all of them, but not Paymaster. Yeah.
Try, I'm learning a lot, just like Cal is too here.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a paymaster? A paymaster is either a CPA or an attorney who basically has a rather large bank account or an account with a bank that can hold large amounts. Normally, funds go into an escrow, and then they pay you out of that escrow. They are I don't even want to say a payroll processor, because they're not. They're designed, and then their business is to process large amounts of money. And I'm talking millions and billions and trillions of dollars. That's what they are for. And most of them have what they can do is called a Fed wire. It's a federally guaranteed wire. And that's how we're going to get around and be able to do the large amounts, is because they're going to be Fed wired.
Gotcha. Okay, Misty, I have no more questions in the chat. I turned my video off because people were having a hard time hearing me earlier with it on. and I apologize for that, but I just want to commend everyone for taking 2 hours out of your Sunday afternoon or in the middle of the night, wherever you are, to come here and learn about your future, you know. So that's what it's about. You know, we see all the questions that are out there, and yet some of those people aren't even going to bother to be here today. But I commend the ones that are, because this is important, and getting all the information that you need for your futures and the people you know, love, and care about. That's what it's about, because there are going to be mistakes made, but hopefully they'll be minimized, because Linda, she's got a grip on this thing, let me tell you. And
I do.
yeah, you really do. And Linda, I want to personally say thank you for everything that you do, and to let you know, and I'll do this out here on an open call in front of God and everybody, if you need my help, you can count on me.
Me too.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I knew Misty was going to say that, but listen, we're here because we are servant leaders, and that's what we're here for. So thank everyone I thank you for your questions. I thank you for your participation and your understanding, and I'm glad we did this call, because I couldn't believe when I put this out there, the response I got immediately. It told me that there was definitely a need, and people were just on pins and needles. They had so many questions and concerns, and I'm really hoping that we just kind of settled the herd a little bit, you know. Are there going to be more changes? The flagpole is always going to be moving, but we're going to adjust as that happens. And with a leader like Linda, and I'm so thankful that you're here. I'm so glad that you know, I was going to send you the link, and then with what was going on, I'm like, no, I can't do that.
No, I
Good surprise.
Yeah.
I know the look on your face, Misty, when you saw me jump
Yeah.
on, I was like, that was priceless. That was priceless. It was.
Oh.
I like to surprise people. I mean, I did the Trinidad call about a week ago, and they didn't know, because I had talked to the leader and I said, I don't know how my night's going to go. And I do get these all the time. And, you know, things change from 1 minute to the next. I might be in the middle of dinner, because I eat dinner at different hours of the day and night, it seems like, with everything. And then, you know, I'm up late. I go to bed late. You know, some days I'm just exhausted. I go to bed early and I'm staying in bed late, you know, so it's just, it's a lot. I mean, and you guys know that I finally took and brought some people on board to help us. I said, my girlfriend here, she's actually part of the team that works behind the scenes here. And she came to be with me for a couple of days with my sister passing, and just to be here for support for me. So I'm going to train her on a couple of things while she's here, so when she goes home, she knows what she's going to do. So this is going to be a work in progress over here too. But you know, I do enjoy these, because I do know that sometimes, well, let me change that. A lot of times you need to hear it from the horse's mouth, for lack of better words, what's happening. You need to hear it in the voice, on how it's portrayed and how it comes out, and the sincerity. I like to have fun. I'm the first one to tell you, I like to have fun. I hate a straight business meeting. I will fall asleep in a heartbeat. So when I giggle, I laugh the whole 9 yards. I give you the finger, whole 9 yards. It's me. That is me. And I want you to hear it from me, you know, the sincerity that this is how I am. If I'm mad, you can hear it in my writing that I'm mad,
Yeah.
but to hear it in my voice, you know, to know that this is upsetting, this is hurtful. You know, I've had so many people come to me and say, have you seen Reddit? Have you seen Reddit? I'm like, look, guys, do I look like I've seen Reddit? Do I look like I have 5 minutes to look at Reddit? I don't care. Okay. Yeah. I don't care. Okay. Right. Because those people don't know me. I don't know how they're getting their information. I don't care. They don't know me. They don't know where my heart is. My heart is here with you guys. And if it had not been, I could have done what every other leader out there has done. You must come in with $100. You must come in with $250. There's a couple of groups out there that stuck with Mike's payment plan. Now they did stay at $250. They didn't take the $250 off, but you had to come in with $250 to join their group. You know, I made it for the middle class and the underclass people.
The little
because that's where
guy.
I came from. That's where I came from.
That's exactly right.
You
That is
know,
so
and
appreciated, Linda. You could tell your heart in so many of your emails. You could tell when you were stern and you needed people to pay attention, and that was good. But you could also tell, I mean, you could just feel your heart as well, because I know when someone is speaking from the heart, whether I'm talking to them or whether they're putting it in an email, and you really are out there for the little guy, because we're all little guys.
Mhm.
And you made it so easy for everyone to be involved in this and change everyone's life. And I commend you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a hard one that takes no accolades, not criticism, accolades.
I know.
I don't, because everything I've ever done, the accolades never came because it was the positions that I had. The accolades just were not there. I mean, but like I said, I get emails all the time. Thank you for what you're doing. You know, thank you for walking me through this because I was so lost, or, you know, my sponsor just disappeared on me and I can't get this information. You know, it's just the accolades that are coming in and the thank yous, you know, and then they way outnumber the people that are, ew, you're doing this. I want this and I want that. And you didn't answer my email. You know what?
6,000 members, guys. Come on.
I know 6,000 members, and I'm the one who answers the majority of the emails, you know, so it's a lot, you know, and I have a husband. We've been together for 33 years, something like that. I lost track. After 30, you lose track. So, you know, and he has retired. He retired at the end of May and wants attention. And I have been so involved in this since March, you know, and it got worse come May. So, you know, he is striving for attention. It's softball season here. It's fall softball season. My daughter runs 6 softball teams. I have my grandson every weekend who's 10. So I'm trying to spend a little bit of time with him while he's here. He understands. I mean, he sees his mom do all of the time that she has in softball and stuff like this. So he understands, but he's happy to be here. You know, I still take him. Last night we went out to Friendly Ice Cream and we had ice cream at the store. We didn't bring it home. We actually sat at the store. So it's taking that little bit of time here and there when I need to. That is the best part. But you know what? The whole time I'm out there, I'm like, I got to get him. There's emails, there's invoices, there's emails, there's invoices. I've got 10 texts on my phone. You know, I got to answer them. I do usually answer them when I'm out and I'm not driving. So, I mean, and you guys will find that if I have to return phone calls, I do it while I'm driving. It's the best time for me.
I do too. Misty knows that. I'll be like, I'm in my car. It's the best time for me to talk.
It is. I mean, I think my husband knows about as much about this project as I do because it's all he listens to all day long.
Bless him.
He'll be
Well, we thank your husband too for everything he is sacrificing for you to be there for us.
Well, I tell you what, I actually hired him. And he goes, well, how much does this pay? I said, I'll give you a position. I'll give you $14 million. And then he looked at what he had to do. He goes, I don't think this is enough. And all he's doing is opening the email. All the mail that comes in, all of your packets that come in, he opens them and staples them together and marks them off my paperwork.
Oh, that's
and then he'll leave a message. I got your pay. I got my mail. I got my job done today.
Well, that's good that he's involved and he doesn't feel left out. That's sort of attention anyway.
Yeah. He's still not quite with it yet. You know, he's never been one of these people for any of this, you know, so for me to bring this to him and say, this is what we're doing. And then to turn around and we're talking about moving, you know, we're in a bedroom, we're in a 2-bedroom apartment on the bottom floor. I have some people above us who like to stomp across the floor. They have a kid who runs across the hallway all the time. So we're ready to move and we've only been here 6 months. But for me to tell him, hey, honey, you know, you want to move? Well, I think we're going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma? What do you mean? I said, yeah, I think I'm going to Oklahoma. I'm putting this new business together to take up where this one is. I said, but think about it this way. I'm not going to be putting 18 hours a day in because it'll be a 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 8 to 6, whatever we decide to make it. you know, Monday through Friday, I'm going to have the people behind me to help me. I'm going to have weekends off. So you'll have your wife back. Whether she'll be home or not might be a different story, because she might be out gallivanting in the Boss Lady Express.
Yeah,
But you'll
that's
have her
right.
home.
Aw, that's so special. So, I'm thinking it's, well, we're at 2.25 hours here. And we
Okay,
still
goodbye.
have over 100, no, hold on. We still have over 100 people on this call. So Misty, do you want to do the prayer, or would you like me to?
Would you like me to what?
Do you want to do the end? We're going to end in prayer. Do you want to do it?
Go ahead, Cindy.
Okay. I just hope people can hear me okay.
Yeah, we
All
can
right.
hear you.
You're
Okay.
good. You're good.
All right, Father, thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for waking us up. That's number one. We cherish you. We love you. You're our strength. We thank you for Misty. We thank you for Linda. We thank you for Linda, who cares about everyone. And it was by your divine intervention that we're even here. We're all here. We're all here together. We're here for a common cause. We thank you for this woman who works tirelessly, who leaves her family, who has a family that never sees her. Father, give her the strength. Please give her the strength. Cherish what she does for 6,000 plus people. We know, Father, that you chose her. You chose her to lead the way, and we are right here appreciating her. We are thanking you for her. And Father, please give her strength. Give her our condolences. Give her the support that she needs, and give her the peace she deserves in this time. In this time. Please, dear Father, I pray that she has a wonderful day. I pray that each day she gets a little stronger. And I pray that you lay your hands upon her and give her the endless love to give back to us as she is right now. Thank you, Lord. May God bless you. May God bless you, Misty, and everyone on this call. And God bless you, Lyndon. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will send you the recording in Skype when I get it uploaded. It might take a minute.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, it might take a minute. All right, guys. Thanks for having us
Bye,
on.
everybody.
Bye.
Look forward
Thank
to it.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.